Welcome to Sit Around the Fire. I'm your host, Ashlea Dillard, a therapist, hypnotherapist, and a former first responder. This is a podcast where we have real conversations about mental health, healing, and stepping into who you are meant to be. In today's solo episode, we're going to explore how language we use in our thoughts really does shape our reality and our identity. I'm going to emphasize to you over and over that how you rephrase things, how you choose to look at things differently actually do rewire the brain, reduce resistance, and foster a much healthier self-perception. We are going to dive into the importance and the impact of self-talk on the brain and the neural pathways themselves, how repetition and emotion are all in subconscious programming, how to get you to actually shift from limiting to empowering language and discover the role of identity in daily language that we're always using. Of course, you're going to walk away with how do you actually do this, practical strategies for intentionally rephrasing. I want you to walk away with this episode knowing that your words are instructions for your brain that are truly shaping your reality. I'm really glad that you're here and excited to spend some time with you today, so let's get going into the episode. The most important conversation you are ever going to have is the one that's happening in your own mind. It's not the one with your partner. It's not the one with your therapist. It's not even the one you're avoiding with your mom. It's the one in your head, the one running on a loop right now that you barely even notice anymore. And here's what I want to ask you today is what is that conversation actually saying? Because I know some of you are walking around saying things like, I'm so tired every single day, multiple times a day. Like it's just true. Like it's just who you are. Some of you say, I can't handle this under your breath when things are getting hard, when things are getting heavy. Or I'm just an anxious person. Like anxiety becomes your name, your identity, your permanent address. And I get it. I really do get it because I still say some of those things as well. I thought I was just being honest. I thought I was just describing what was real. I thought I was just saying how I was really feeling. But what if I told you that those aren't just thoughts? Those aren't just words. Those are literally instructions. And your brain, your brilliant, literal, loyal brain is following every single one of them. That's what we're getting into today. The language that has been quietly running your life and how to start to actually change it. Okay, so let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain when you speak out loud in your head, because this is where it gets really interesting. Your brain doesn't have a fact checker. It doesn't sit there and go, is this actually true? Or is this just something she keeps saying? It doesn't do that. It takes in what you repeat and it flies with it. It builds these neural pathways around it and it strengthens these over time because it becomes your reality. It treats these thoughts as reality. And here's the part that really got me. The subconscious, the part of your brain that's running the show most of the time, responds most strongly to two things: repetition and emotion. That's it. You say something often enough with enough feeling behind it, and your subconscious does not question it. You hear this? Do you really hear this? It just accepts it and it starts organizing your entire experience around it. And then, of course, there's the nervous system. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between something that's happening right now and something that you're vividly imagining or repeating over and over or actively describing. So when you say something like, I'm overwhelmed, your nervous system starts to respond as though overwhelm is your current state. Even if you're just sitting on the couch saying it out of habit. I remember when I really felt this for the first time, or when I really paid attention to it. I going through a hard season, the kind where you're just really not sure which way is up. And I had this phrase I kept coming back to. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I thought it was just being real with myself. I thought it was incredible self awareness. But every time I said it, I could feel my chest tighten. I could feel my stomach brace. I felt smaller, and it kept being true over and over because I kept telling my brain that it was. The moment I shifted, the moment I shifted to something different, I'm learning how to carry this. Even when I didn't fully believe it yet, even when I didn't understand all the way of how to do this, something started to move. Slowly, but it did move. Your words don't just describe your reality, they're literally creating it. And that's not a fancy Pinterest quote to put out there. It's literally how your brain works. All right, let's get into the specifics now because specific is where the work actually lives. I'm going to name some phrases that I know are living in some of your mouths right now. And I want you to feel it when I say them. Don't just think about it, feel it. I'm overwhelmed. I have to do this. Nothing ever works for me. I'm overwhelmed. Every time you say that, you are not just naming a feeling, you are actually reinforcing it. You're sending a signal that says, stay here. This is where we live now. And your brain says, yes, we do. I have to. I have to go to work. I have to deal with this. I have to figure it all out. You know what have to creates before you even take one step here? Resistance. Hear me again. Resistance. Your brain immediately gets its backup. You've turned something very neutral into now a burden before it has even begun. I'm always like this. Oh, this one is golden. This one is doing so much damage quietly because when you say, I'm always like this, you are locking in your identity in this place. You're literally telling your brain, this is permanent. This is fixed. Don't bother even looking for another way. You've written yourself into a character who does not change. Nothing ever works for me. That is learned helplessness, you guys, in language form. It's a story that begins to feel like evidence. And every time you say it, you collect more and more evidence for it because you're primed to see the world through that lens. Every time you repeat something, you're either reinforcing a limitation or you're creating a new pathway. There is no neutral ground. There is no neutral thought. Now, this isn't about blame. I'm not saying you've been doing it all wrong and you should have known better. I'm saying now you know. And now you always have a choice. And now you can choose again. So let's talk about what to do instead. And before I share these, I need to say something because I know, I know some of you are already bracing for it, and this is not toxic positivity. So don't come at me. This is not good vibes only kind of stuff. I'm not asking you to pretend. I'm not telling you to put on some kind of mask. I'm asking you to be incredibly intentional. And there is a massive difference here. Toxic positivity bypasses what's actually real. And what I'm talking about is intentional programming. It's choosing a language that does not trap you, language that keeps a door open even when everything feels very closed. So, here's what this actually looks like. I'm anxious. I'm learning how to feel safe again. Do you catch the reframe there? Instead of saying, I'm anxious, you're now saying, I'm learning how to feel safe again. For I'm exhausted. My body is asking me for something different. Instead of, I can't handle this, I'm figuring this out one step at a time. I have to. I get to. Or I'm choosing to. Doesn't that feel like so incredibly empowering? Just that last one. Instead of this, I have to mentality, I get to do this. I'm choosing to do this. That's incredibly empowering, and I just love it. Now, notice something about all of these here, you guys. They're not claiming you've arrived somewhere that you haven't. I'm not learning how to feel safe again. That's honest. You are actually learning. It's a process and you're really in it. But it also tells your brain that this is not permanent. There's movement here, there's flexibility. We're on our way somewhere. My body is asking for something different. Instead of collapsing into exhaustion, exhaustion as an identity, exhaustion as a pre-programmed nervous system pattern. You're listening to a signal here. That shift alone changes your relationship with your own body. I promise you here, I've done this. I've tried this both ways, and it is incredible what happens and how things start to soften up. Now, I'm figuring this out one step at a time. That one gets me every time because I can't handle this, or this is an all or nothing thinking, right? Either I can or I cannot do this. And moving towards one step at a time actually breaks it into something that's doable. It's not a lie, it's a reframe that your nervous system can actually work with. I like to call it chunking it down, looking at things in smaller aspects rather than this giant, huge thing. That weird saying that I know you know is out there about eating an elephant one bite at a time, which is very strange in itself, does actually have some merit here. When we are able to break it apart, it feels so much more doable. And I get to instead of I have to. I want you to try this one on today, even if you don't believe it at first. Even if it feels weird in your mouth to say it, notice what happens in your body when you say, I get to instead. But here's the thing, this only works. It only actually changes anything with three things: repetition, emotion, and consistency. You have to say it like you mean it, even if it's just a little bit. You have to come back to it. You cannot say it once on a Tuesday and then go back to, I'm a mess by Thursday and wonder why the heck nothing has changed. You are not trying to trick yourself. You are training yourself differently, and there's an incredible difference in that. I want to take this somewhere a little bit deeper as we go forward before we close, because I think that this is the piece that actually makes it all stick and come together. At some point, the words you repeat stop being the things that you say. They become who you believe you are. Think about this again. The words you repeat stop being the things that you say. They become who you believe you are. And that's where identity is actually formed. Not in some big dramatic moment in a single decision. It's formed in the daily, almost unconscious, completely ordinary things that you say about yourself. Over and over. Repeated again and again. In the car. In the shower. In your head. In your head when something goes wrong. Now, I want to be honest and real with you for a second here. There's a version of me that had built an entire identity around struggle, around being the person who was always working through something, always a little behind, always needing to recover from the last thing before the next thing comes up. And the person who always answered when somebody asked me, "How are you doing?" "I'm doing good. I'm so busy." It's like, I didn't even realize what I was doing. I thought I was just being real, but I was actually building a house that I didn't really want to live in, one stinking word at a time. And so I want to ask you very genuinely, what kind of person are you becoming with the words that you are using every single day? Not who you want to be eventually. Who are you building right now in the language that you use about yourself? Because identity isn't something you discover, it's something that you choose again and again in the small, unglamorous moments when I can tell you no one's actually watching. Here's what I want to leave you with today. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You don't need to do this massive overhaul on every thought or become some version of yourself who never struggles or never has a hard thing come up. That's not what this is, and we know that that's not reality. You just need to start changing the language that's been shaping your life without your permission. That's it. That's the whole thing. One phrase today. Notice what you're saying on repeat, not with judgment, just awareness. That awareness alone is the beginning of the shift, I promise you. And if you want to go further, pick one swap from today and use it every time the old phrase comes up in this week. Every single time. Even when it feels fake. Especially when it feels fake. Because that discomfort, that's your brain building a new road. I'm really, really glad that you're here. I'm glad that you are in a season when you're asking these questions, where you're willing to look at the small things because you know that the small things are actually everything. Take care of yourself this week. Start to shift this dialogue. Pick one thing that you're going to start to speak differently to yourself about. If this episode resonated with you, take a second to like, to follow, and subscribe, whatever platform that you're on. So for one, you don't miss out on future conversations like this, but two, because your love and support really does make a huge difference for us. If you know someone who's been stuck in their head lately, share this with them, because sometimes we just need the right words to hit us at the right time, and that changes everything. I'd also really love to hear from you. What's one phrase that you are ready to let go of? What's one phrase that's no longer serving you in your life? What are you going to replace it with? I'll be so excited to hear what some of your thoughts are. If you're ready to take this deeper, to shift the patterns, the beliefs, that internal dialogue that's been running in the background of your head. That's exactly the work that I do. I can help you connect into those thoughts and truly make a massive transformation. You can get connected with me at Sit Around the Fire. You can also learn about more of the work that I do at Ashlea Dillard Therapy. But until next time, can we be intentional with our words, because they are shaping more than you think.